Hey everybody, this is Petey from the Spinner Rack. We also have
Calvin Ellis, ready to rock.
yesterday, which would be the 30th of May, was the same day that Johnny Blaze was introduced as the Ghost Rider, and Marvel did a little history of it. Any thoughts of Ghost Rider before I play this?
Yeah, one of the foundational characters of my early comic book reading. I was, well, I think the stunt drivers were pretty popular, like even Evil Knievel.
Hmm.
He was still, yeah, he was still, he might have been like, I don't want to say phasing out or something, but I just remember like I was still really young when I was hearing about that type of stuff. But I remember that and you're like jumping over the whole things, and then it would go further when you would have the cars like Knight Rider and
Yeah,
Dukes of Hazzard, and they would be jumping over these long distances.
yeah, yeah,
So that's at the time when I was coming in, so I was reading a lot of these back issues. So the stunt cycle, the stunt drivers with the motorcycles and the cars, I found that to be interesting. I think a little bit later we would get a little bit later, I forget exactly what the year was, maybe like 82, they would come out with this book called Team America,
yeah, yeah.
which was still linking with the interest, the cycling interest, motorcycling interest. So yeah, this was a character that I liked a lot on first blush.
Yeah, he was a definite character I would check out from time to time. I did like that he was in the Champions, so it was easy to get him to see him. It only had like I think two issues of the Champions, but he did some key. Did have some key moments in there where he gets almost destroyed by this fire creature and tossed. Then he just you see without the clothes, he just bones, and it's a burn shot of him doing like this to the creature, get on his motorcycle and attacking. And then I think the other issue, he Doom control the world, and there was this big fight between Doom, no, Magneto, Beast against everybody. So the champions and the Hulk, and Doom is controlling everybody else. And Johnny Blaze, I think, was one who wasn't affected. He puts some flame into Doom's mask, and it's just like a real dramatic scene. So yeah, he definitely was always a favorite. I didn't always buy his book, but he definitely was someone you checked out. And then when I was like, all right, I'm gonna start checking him out, he became that other creature, Zarathos. I was like, I just like Johnny Blaze when he things with in his sense of danger or the girl he liked was in trouble. He would. I like that distinction where there's in the champions he was like Iceman, no, stop fighting. He's like the stranger isn't trying to do anything. I haven't turned into the Ghost Rider. And Iceman's like, whatever. I don't know why you're saying that. We got to stop him. And then the Black Widow comes and she shoots, and then the stranger knocks her down. And then you see him change. Oh, um, Natasha's hurt, and he immediately turns. He's like, so in his personal, he could definitely change too. But here, let's watch what they say. Um,
Talk about playing with fire. On May 30th, 1972, over in the original timeline, Marvel Comics sparked something special with Marvel Spotlight number 5, introducing Johnny Blaze as Ghost Rider. After the tragic death of his family, Johnny Blaze was taken in by Crash Simpson, who raised him like his own and taught him everything he knew, including how to be a motorcycle stuntman. Woo! But when Crash was diagnosed with a fatal illness, Johnny was desperate. So desperate, he made a deal with a big bad demon named Mephisto. But y'all know, deals with the devil never go quite as planned. Even though Crash's illness was cured, his next stunt took his life. Johnny insisted he'd been double-crossed, but old Mephisto, he was not done. In a final act of spite, Mephisto cursed Johnny by bonding him with Demon Zarathos, transforming him into a blazing spirit of vengeance. Now, by day, Johnny's still himself, but by night, he's cursed to ride the earth as the fiery skeletal Ghost Rider, bringing down justice on the wicked. But don't you worry, he's always fighting to hold on to that bit of humanity deep down inside. Until next time, recruits, stay toasty. For all time, always.
Man, I'm glad I bought the first appearance of Miss Menace because yeah, okay, they're actually going to get some mileage out of this one. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to make some money on her.
What
Okay,
book
good.
did she appear in?
What was this again? Timeless. It was a variant cover of Timeless #1, and it's her first appearance, and it's on a cover. So I'm like, okay, great. She's still, yeah. That's actually gonna be one that's gonna do pretty well long
Good
term.
way to stay focused. I think right here is Danny Ketch though, like the chains, the tires on fire. I think that's all the
Danny Ketch. I
yeah,
thought you said Johnny Cash. Danny.
Danny Ketch. Yeah, I think that's bits
That,
of
that
his
whole
work.
Spirit of Vengeance thing is Danny Ketch. That's not Johnny Blaze.
Well,
When I first was introduced, I thought his thing was closer to. It came across closer to like the Hulk, where depending on his emotional state, he would become the Ghost Rider. That's why I was introduced. And then later on, they were like, "Oh no, this whole Zarathos thing." I was like, "What?"
yeah, the Zarathos thing kind of killed it and turned it into like what I think DC would turn the demon into. But yeah, I think initially just him. That's the thing. But I want to also sidestep it into something else. I always felt like, you know, you get that Paul Walker or anybody who's like the young person for the time to be, the young blonde person for the time. So felt like, William Cat, who's the greatest American hero, could have possibly been a good Ghost Rider, and then Paul Walker, and then find someone who's the young guy from, the young athletic type of guy to be the Ghost Rider. But they went wrong and they said, Nick Cage likes comic books. Why not do him? Oh, let's do the. Then I think in the Avengers, no, Agents of Shield, they use the Ghost Rider with the car. Like talk. Does the Ghost Rider with the car work for you at all? Because it doesn't work for me at all. I'll state that first.
Why would the Ghost Rider be in an automobile?
Yeah, it's
The
really
cool aspect of the character is that he's on a motorcycle.
yeah, and especially in a comic book, it's like you're really kind of outside of maybe Sin City. You
You
can't
remember
run too many
remember the
cars.
Marvel Universe handbook, and they had two. There was like the issue with the weapons and the vehicles,
Yes.
and they did Captain America's motorcycle. Everybody's like, "Oh, this is cool." Then they had like Captain America's van. Who cared about the van?
yeah, yeah, it was really feeling like the only problem that Marvel did really wrong with the Spirit of Vengeance in the 90s was they started mass producing. They're like, oh, monsters and mystical characters. Let's cookie cut. Let's get Morbius, this character, the Midnight Suns crossover. And this is like, yo, chill. And it's the same thing the Image guys go through. So, but I think they kind of, I mean, that's how
No,
Punisher.
Marvel doesn't know how to chill.
But it's like, it took, well, I know the X Men guys were kind of holding back. That's the thing. I think Jim Shooter tries to say, hey, I didn't want to do another X book, but Chris and they wanted to do the New Mutants, but I was trying to keep it into a good, just solid thing. It's like, he's sitting up there crying, wanting, hey, I want some Alpha Flight, Burn. Give us Alpha Flight now. We need it. He's like, it's all right, I'll try to do something with it. And it's like, hey, I got everybody and his brother want to do something with the original X-Men. You guys don't come up with something, somebody's come up with X-Men West. And then that's how we got the New Mutants. So, but it's like the thing of, those are over like at least a good X-Men and then New Mutants in like, I don't know, 82 or something like that, 83. And so it's a good gap. And then they start mass producing X Factor. The miniseries are killing it. And then it's like X-Men every other week. Ghost Rider is like, Punisher was first. Punisher was a successful miniseries, series. Punisher War Journal soon after, like, wait a second, but I was buying War Journal. I had stopped buying regular Punisher, but I think I was still budgeting because Will Potasio was doing the other Punisher, so like I did want that, but I was like, well, I gotta pick one of these. It's like 2 months of the same character. So I picked the War Journal for a while, and then the Ghost Rider, I was buying that, and the thing is, the crazy part about the other series is that you had Howard Mackie on the Spirit of Vengeance Ghost Rider title. You had Javier Saltares, and then you had Mark Texter, Mark Tex, and then Javier leaves. Tex takes it
Yeah.
on big, even bigger. So you had it's a good run of artists on the book. I was real surprised at Tex. Well, Tex had already been doing stuff with Tex Sierra, did stuff with Neil Adams. He was a Neil Adams ghost early on, and then he was doing. I think he did a Sabretooth. But his artwork really worked well for it. So when people talk about the glow in the dark Ghost Rider cover, that's the cover that works. Out of all of the holograms and all the other stuff, the glow in the dark Ghost Rider cover that made sense to me. Like you're gonna do something, and something that's with this character, the white hot Fantastic Four cover, not so much. But yeah. And anyway, definitely a character with great visual. I think that you always have kind of a young person in their 20s if you're gonna do a movie of this, but it seems like an easy thing to do, and going Nick Cage and going the car is the wrong way to do it. So um, you get I'm saying the hard part I thought would be the graphics, and it seems like the casting of the character is the problem. So, well, we'll see. Any other last words?
Just want to make sure the artist. You meant Mark Teixeira?
Yeah, that's it. Thank you. Yeah.
When was he on? When was he on Ghost Rider?
Oh, he like soon after Javier leaves. He was the inker on the first issue. He inks it for a while, and then then the artist leaves, and then he takes it over, and it's just like, well, I was just like, because what's the name used to both of them. Well, Javier did Great Babes, so Tex, I didn't know him for the Babes, but his Babes was even crazier than Javier's. But both of them are not only good action guys, good Babe guys. Oh no, there's a baseball player. That's a different guy. Ghost Rider. But when they did the glow and dark cover, which is like in the teens, that's when he
Yeah.
on it. He drew that cover, and he started doing the regular art on it. So
That's a popular cover. I'm surprised it's not worth more. It's because a lot of people like the cover. I mean, it's sold a lot as well, so there's that. But it's still a pretty popular cover.
hmm yeah, but it was it seemed like a smart thing for Marvel to do, and it was extremely successful. And at the same time, Marvel ran it to the ground like they like to do. So, you know.
Hey, that's how you. Hey, we don't want some of the money. We want all of the money. So who would you cast for Ghost Rider right now? Which one?
Man, that's a tough one now. I had to think. I can't think of a new young face to do it. Like,
But it would be Johnny Blaze, right?
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Danny. When Johnny Blaze came back, and the thing is, that's the thing. He seemed like he had the William Cat fro, and then when he came back in the '90s, he had the long hair. He had like the Tom Cruise long hair. So it's like whatever's going on for the time, outside of someone going full on punk, that sort of thing. But whoever's the regular type of, leading man, blonde for the period, that feels like you could really get some mileage out of the character. Because I mean, I think in the comic books he was dating, who was it, Karen Page for a little while, and so it's like he seems like like he's a
Well, that was a while ago.
one
Okay.
one man guy type of deal. So you can have a regular girlfriend for a little while and switch it out. This is stuff you could do. I mean, I know the graphics are tough, but then you do a movie, but it's a character that I mean, ultimately, when they did the Fantastic Four cartoon, they took away Doctor Strange's bit and gave it to the Ghost Rider, and made Ghost Rider be able to take out Galactus by himself in the cartoon. Like, well, that's not what actually happened. Doctor Strange helped to give them an opening, and then they turned into the Ghost Rider just like He sees all his fears right away. Oh, Galactus fall out. And then he leaves. I was like they couldn't keep on the stage. But anyway,
You
yeah,
should get that guy from the Elvis movie to play him.
okay, yeah. That would be fun. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. Keep it in the new face. Like that sort of thing. Someone in definitely young, and then you get some good mileage out of it. I know that the sounds standard, but it's like there's you would always say like the archetype or type of person that you should cast for, and it seems like that's Hollywood has those guys. So you can, if you imagine Brad Pitt when he was younger doing it, you could probably just, oh, that's perfect, let's do it now. He said yes. They would do it now with him in a heartbeat. But
Are
it's
you kidding? Marvel would do something like that and it would be terrible. I already said they already cast too old for most of these roles as of right now, with the exception of the younger characters. I'm like, no, these characters are too old. Don't you want people who can do like 3 or 4 movies for you?
nope. This is Hollywood. We like to de-age them. Let's de-age them. And the thing is, like, don't you know that when they were doing Star Wars, all those guys are babies?
No, if you look at someone like Natalie Portman.
Hmm.
No, Natalie Portman, I think she's like 43.
Yeah, yeah.
And I have to keep reminding myself, oh, because I don't think she's older because she's been in, she's been on screen a long time, done a lot of work. And you have to remember that, her first film I think of note was The Professional.
Yes. Yep.
So she's been in this, for a long time, and she started young too. So, but look at the amount of stuff. Look at the amount of stuff she can, she's able to come and do at the end of the day. So with some of these characters, especially if it's a character like, say, if I think if it's one of the characters that's going to be around for a while, the character has legs and you know it, you should definitely tack towards a younger actor or actress. And instead, everybody's like middle aged, for the most part. Well, let me not say, yeah, they're like middle aged. They get people working like as office temps, and they're 44. It's like it's too old.
Well, you have to think about it like this. And always the best description of it, and this is just how Hollywood is. And you can't. It's hard to wake up and just have them correct it. But the what Hollywood would do is say, I always go to Michelle Pfeiffer in Grease, and she is like drop dead gorgeous in Grease, but it's a bad movie. So they're like, I don't know. So then she has to kind of sidestep and be like, let me look kind of coked out in this movie in Scarface. And no, we're still not sure if she's it right now. And then there was Into the Night, where she's like, she has short hair and, she has a body. And she's like, there's other starlets in there, but she's kind of just trying to, on the run, hiding. And it's just like, you guys don't see it? I'm pretty sure because my father was like, what is this Into the Night movie? And I'm watching it. And I'm like, okay, my father's watching this for Michelle Pfeiffer. And then it's like Married to the Mob is where she gets her big thing. And then you see, and then Batman. But this is all way later. Like she didn't get, I think she was supposed to get Batman, but she was dating Michael Keaton. I guess while either he was married or something like that, so he was like, "No, don't do it, don't cast her." And then she's in the second one and kills it. So it's kind of like we're not sure if this person's bankable. And the case of say like even Christopher Reeve is someone forcing them to say, "Hey, we got the names. Let's use this young guy." And he, you know, um, he got 4 Superman films out of him, and he's got a ton of projects that he was working on, and he was he was a successful person throughout his life, obviously before the accident. So it's just kind of how they cast. It's like saying they're not sure about a person outside of say they look at someone like Harrison Ford. They're like, Harrison Ford, he's it. He's the one. We know he's going to be it. So you have the career that you have. So they pick one, but at the same time, they can, if you plan it right. I mean, Actually, George Lucas wanted to go even younger in the most latest trilogy that he was doing. They were going to be like real small, but but they still had them as young as Natalie Portman and whoever I forget the guy, Hayden Christensen, and in the story. So they had semi young people in there, but they, Hollywood is just used to. We're not sure yet, and it's like when you have someone that is definite talent, and they make it. No, you were in a box office bomb, so prove it again. We're not sure. Said, you look pretty used up, and what's the name? Well, no, that sort of thing. So they're just kind of tough, and they kind of wait. So I kind of like, well, maybe Reed should be up there, good decent age, but these other characters should be young. No, we can, these guys can be older too. Nobody cares. We got de-aging equipment. No, it costs too much. We shouldn't have said that in the pitch meeting because we can't use the de-aging stuff. It costs too much. I think they said the cost of it is so much, like making another movie. So they kind of decided against that stuff. But anyway, yeah, it would be great to do that. And they should, in the case of most of these characters, they're in their 20s and 30s outside of the X-Men that are, the originals, which are teens. But, they always go for short people in their 20s to be teens. So
because they're never going to grow up. So they'll be short forever.
Yep, that's kind of how it is. All right, y'all. So more happy returns, Ghost Rider. I don't know if you have a title now, but there's some classic books and classic character.
You heard it here first. Austin Butler for Ghost Rider.
Spinner Rack.
No, we do not want Danny Ketch. Sorry, Robbie Reyes. Johnny Blaze forever.
Johnny Blaze forever. Spinner Rack.
Out.
Out.